Can I yap? I just feel like yap a little bit. So I was studying and this just popped up in my head and I need to get it out. And I thought about like calling my friends, but I call my friends too much. I cannot bother them. And I'm not sure if you guys remember, but in the previous videos I mentioned that the reason why I made my YouTube channel is because I bother my friends too much, and before they get sick of me, I need a platform so I can yap whenever I want. And here's me yapping. So I work in a mental health counseling industry, and I'm not a counselor by any means, but initially wanted to work in this industry because I wanted to be a counselor. But after having some experience with the counselors and the clients being in this industry, I do not want to be a counselor anymore. And there can be a couple of reasons. I mean, I have a lot of reasons. First of all, I had some conflicts with some of the counselors, and that made me realize that I don't want to be a part of this community. I'm not gonna, like mention their names, or I'm not gonna call them out, but just to share a couple of incidences, I got yelled at by counselors, and so basically my role is supporting them. When clients come to our center for the first time, I call them typically and ask like why they want counseling, what's the reason they come to our center for therapy, and I listen to them. I'm the first person that people talk to them, and then based on their main areas of concern, I match them with the counselors. The reason why I wanted this position specifically is because it's related to clinical side of therapy, and that's where I want to be in the future. But now I'm like, I don't think this is what I want. And not only my experience at a counseling center, I volunteer as a crisis counselor. I'll have like information down here, so if anyone is having a hard time, like if anyone is going through a hard time, I want you guys to be helped because you deserve it. I sometimes feel like people I talk to do not see me as a human. I do understand that you're having a hard time. I understand that you're going through some hard time, so you need someone to talk to, and I'm here to help. But do you actually see me as a human, or do you? It might be, ironic for me to be expected to be treated well. I don't know, like, I don't even expect to be treated well, but it's just whenever I talk to them, I sometimes feel like, do you even see me as a human? Am I just one of a bunch of people that you want to give a hard time just because you are having a hard time? I'm not saying every client, every people that I see and I talk to in this industry treat me like that. And it's really fulfilling job, and I love being in this industry. That's a topic for another day. Do I really love this industry, this new industry? I don't know. But working in this industry and volunteering as a crisis counselor gives me a lot of new perspective on this industry and what it would be like to live for the rest of my life as a therapist. And short answer that I concluded with is that no, I don't want to be a counselor anymore. Still, I'm very interested in my main research topic. I'm very interested in working with military personnel and help them through trauma recovery. But rather than having one-on-one therapy sessions with them and help them through their trauma recovery, I think I'm more interested in like asking fundamental questions, like a more academic questions, if that makes sense. I want to study. I want to be a scholar. I want to do research. I think that's something I've realized. There are so many different ways to approach your interest. Like, for example, you like music, but that doesn't mean you should be a musician. You can be an accountant and work for a music company. You can utilize what you're good at and be a part of the music industry in that way. Like, if you're good at art, you can be a designer and do a freelance job for this like musician. And that's something I've realized exploring different fields in my early 20s, like mid 20s now. Because in my early 20s or like even late teen, I thought if you like art, you should be an artist. That's like one way. That's almost like the only way you can enjoy art, or like you can have art in your life for the rest of your life. So I wanted to be an artist. But now that I realized there are so many different ways to enjoy art, or like even utilize art in your life. Like for example, back then, like I love art. I still love art. Like since I was a kid, I was always a creative one. So I went to grad school for fine art, but then although I didn't like get my master's, I have a postbac in studio art, because I realized that I don't want to be a artist for the rest of my life. I thought being an artist would not bring a lifestyle that I want for my life. But now I am studying psychology. I am combining psychology and art to help a military population. That is another way to have art in my life. I think sometimes people are so fixated on one specific title, like occupational title, and they think, oh, this is the only way that I want to live my life. But there are so many different ways to approach your interest, and there are so many different ways to have your interest in your life. I don't know where this conversation is going, to be honest, but going back to my interest, I want to help a military population because I'm a military family. I'm a military family, and growing up, I used to live in the base. And there were so many things that I could not understand. Like now, having a field experience, now working with the military population, I have so many thoughts. I have in-depth perspective that contributed as to why I want to dedicate the rest of my life to helping military populations. But initially, I became interested in this field because I want to help people like my dad. My dad served military his entire life. Now he's retired, but I do see the aftermath of combat experience from my dad. And I do see the lack of support from the military system. Although I am not a part of the military system, so I cannot say like I cannot like specify what kind of support that my dad got or that other like military personnel have. I'm pretty sure they're doing their best to support their soldiers. But as a family member, I see the aftermath of that combat experience from my dad. And that's really heartbreaking. And as a person who saw that firsthand, I'm pretty sure my dad is not the only person. I'm pretty sure there are so many other military personnel, like combat soldiers, not only just like combat soldiers, but other like type of soldiers who are experiencing some sort of like trauma. I see that almost every day at work, and I do want to help them. But does that mean I have to be a counselor? Does that mean being a counselor and having one-on-one sessions with them is the only way I can help them? No. There are so many different ways to approach it. And having a field experience, I came to conclude that being a counselor is not what I want for the rest of my life. I think I can help them better through research, through asking fundamental questions, and generate new knowledge that other counselors, other like amazing counselors can use to help a military population. Knowing what I know right now, I think I would advise myself in college, follow your interest, follow your heart, but be open-minded. Do not fixate it on one title. There are so many different like job titles, and every day there are new job titles coming up. You have no idea what you will be, like what your title will be in the future, but as long as that title aligns with your purpose, like purpose in life, that's all good. That's all that matters. So I would advise my college self, focus on finding purpose in life, focus on exploring rather than being fixated on one specific job title and try to achieve it. Because I think that's what I wanted to do. But now I realize purpose in life is more important than the job title. Okay, to be honest, I don't know what I'm trying to achieve through this Yup session, like me just like talking without, script. Maybe I should have written a script and, deliver things in more like organized way. But I'm just one of those people who, if they don't get it out, they just forget, and I don't like that. So here's me just documenting. I was actually studying. I was just going through lectures. I don't know where this video is going, but here's me, just so random. Am I actually going to upload this? I don't know. We'll see.